screen. Sometimes I forget to fix my screen and then the recording comes out weird if I don't have it on the right screen. So, all right, looks like I am good now. Take a deep breath. Go ahead and start to settle in. Start to slow down. Maybe stretch a little bit right now. I don't always suggest that, but sometimes lying right down can feel challenging too. Like maybe you're a little stiff or a little uncomfortable, but if you sort of roll out the shoulders or stretch a little bit, then you can more comfortably come into that stillness. So that's always an option when you first get started, or it's always encouraged to kind of stretch out any way you need so that you can find that stillness. So as you start to enter into that stillness, let your eyes close. Let your breath begin to deepen a little bit. And let's just take a couple moments to really focus on that breath. We were talking about slowing down a little bit, focusing on each pose, spending more time in each pose. So let's start that right here with the breath. Everything we do is intentional in a yoga class. That's what's cool about yoga. Like, even if you feel like I'm just lying here, I'm just standing here, I'm just sitting, there's so much that you can pay attention to. So right now, focus on your breath. Starting there, focusing on the inhale, bringing it in through your nose. Picture that breath coming down through your throat, your chest, eventually into your stomach. It's not really in your stomach, but it's a good visual, filling up your stomach or the lungs. And then as you exhale, pressing it back out, letting that air come back out through the body. And see if you can make that breath a little bit slower. Maybe counting 4 or 5, whatever feels comfortable for you, or a little longer than your typical breath. And then also making it even. So an inhale of 4, and then an exhale of 4. And just allowing yourself to melt into this. Each time you exhale, feel yourself relaxing a little bit more. Feel yourself coming into the present moment as you start to notice how you're feeling. And maybe you're making an adjustment. Maybe you've already felt like, okay, this position, I don't need to be here anymore. I need to move my hands or my legs. Great, do that. Notice how you're feeling and notice what you need. And then along those lines, start to think about that intention for your practice today. And maybe keeping in line with what we were just talking about, that intention is to slow down, to be present, to be observant, to be intentional. Very literal intention could be to be intentional. So once you have that intention set, let's start to find a full body stretch. Reaching your arms overhead, beginning to move through the fingers and the toes. Move from side to side a little bit. So it could be a still thing where you kind of lean to one side for a breath and then the other, or maybe you're more just moving a little bit, rolling out the ankles, wiggling the feet. And then we're going to take the right knee, draw it in towards the body, wrap your arms around that right leg, hug it in. So you're hugging in the shin, your foot can be flexed a little bit. Draw that knee towards you, almost like you're trying to touch the knee to the shoulder. It doesn't have to touch, mine's not touching, but it's working in that direction. And in doing so, you're kind of massaging the right side of your body. All those internal organs are kind of getting a little massage or a little squeeze. And then you can start to circle that right knee, making circles or a figure 8 or any shape really. We always suggest circles, but it doesn't have to be circles. And then we're going to take that right knee over to the left side, coming into that twist. The right knee is releasing towards the mat. Right shoulder is pressing down towards the mat, feeling that twist across the whole right side of the body. And use that breath here. Take a moment to notice what you can relax. For myself, I just noticed I was tensing my left thigh a lot. So I went and relaxed my left thigh because that's not really doing anything in this pose. Sometimes we're squeezing muscles that have nothing to do with the pose. So see what you can relax. Maybe it's a thigh, maybe it's a jaw, maybe it's your shoulders are releasing down towards the mat. We're going to take that right knee back through the center. And then we're just going to take it out to the right side. So you can kind of hold onto the right knee. Just let it kind of release over to the right. It doesn't have to touch the ground. Mine is floating in the air. I'm holding it. You're kind of just getting a little opening in that right hip. Maybe it's moving a little bit. Maybe you just take a breath or two here, keeping it still. We'll bring that right leg back through center. Slowly place that leg back down on the mat and draw the left knee in towards you. Hug it in. First, finding some stillness. So we'll just hug that left knee in, draw it towards the left shoulder. Give that little massage to the side of the body. And then when you're ready, you can start to circle that left knee just like we did with the other knee. Making circles, making squiggles or zigzags, whatever feels good for that hip and that leg. And we'll start to take the left knee across the body over to the right side. Take a breath in as you exhale. Release the left shoulder down towards the mat. Release the left knee to the opposite side of the mat. Anytime we do something on two sides, which is always, notice how it feels on each side because it can be different. For me, this always feels different. My inner hip sometimes bothers me on this side. So I'm much more aware of it. And that's just something that I notice. And everyone has those things that are a little different from side to side. And all we can do is be aware of them and acknowledge that it's there without judgment. Let's take that left leg back over to the left side. So same thing, I'm holding my left knee in my arm and just kind of releasing it. You could bring the foot to the mat. It's really just to give a little stretch in that inner left thigh. So however that feels good for you. On the next breath, we'll slowly bring that left knee back down to meet the right. So both legs are straight again. And then both legs will hug in towards the body as you bring your hands behind your thighs and then start to rock your way up to the seated position. Taking a couple rocks or just one big rock, sitting up really tall, bringing your hands to your knees, closing your eyes for a moment if they were open, and just grounding down here, a little rock from side to side, settling in through the hips. And then we're going to do what's called a silent nostril breath. So you're going to take your right thumb, bring it to your right nostril, covering it. You're going to inhale and exhale through the left side. You're going to do that 3 times, as long, as slow, as full as you can. 3 long breaths through the left side. Once you finish that, you're going to take your right ring finger, cover the left nostril, and do the same thing on the right side. So basically you're taking 3 breaths through the left and then 3 breaths through the right. Take as much time as you need. Whenever you're done, your hands can just come back to rest in your lap, but see how slow and intentional you can make these breaths. I don't want to rush you through them, so take as much time as you need, but whenever you've completed the breaths, you'll just start to roll out your shoulders a little bit. Taking those shoulder rolls in both directions. And then relaxing those shoulders down and back. We'll start to roll out the neck, bringing the chin towards the chest, and then letting the head begin to come all the way around. Back in the other direction. And then eventually lifting your head back through center. Let's take a breath in, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, the left hand is going to come to the side of the body. You'll lean to the left side. Do this one a lot, but we're going to move in it this time. So on the next inhale, you're going to lift back up through center. Take it over to the right side. Right hand comes down, the left arm reaches. We're going to keep moving with our breath. So inhale, lift it up. Exhale, come back down to the left. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale to the right. Go ahead and do that 2 or 3 more times with your breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, coming down to the side. You can pause as long as you like on either side, or you can keep it moving fluid, flowing. And then let's end back on the left side. So once you get back to the left side, that left hand can come back down. We're going to reach that right arm one more time. And then we're going to circle that right arm. So making as big of circles as feels comfortable. It could even just be your wrist if that feels better. Sometimes it feels good just to move that wrist a little bit or get into the whole shoulder and kind of move that arm both directions. And let's take it back up and over to the right side. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches, just like we did on the right side. Circle that arm, circle that wrist, move the arm any way that feels good. Inhale it back up. Exhale as you fold it forward, trying to walk those hands away from you. Taking that breath in, lengthening the back of the body. Exhaling, folding into it. And then slowly starting to walk your hands back towards you. We're going to find a twist by turning to the right. Your right hand can come behind you. Your left hand, two options with your left hand. You can either bring your left hand to the right knee. That's usually how I teach this. But when I do it, I actually sometimes like to have my left hand on my left knee and kind of press myself away from my left leg. So you can kind of decide. Either way, we're twisting to the right, but you can kind of press that left hand into the left knee or into the right knee, whichever feels like it's giving you the better twist. And then coming back through center, take it over to the left side. So your left hand is coming to the mat. That right hand can either come to the left knee or it can come to the right knee. But either way, you're looking over that left shoulder. Take a breath in and sit up a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Slowly unraveling that spine as you come back through center, reversing the cross of your legs. So putting the opposite leg in front. Go ahead and rock it out from side to side a little bit as you ground down through that. And then one more time, arms will lift up. As you exhale, fold it forward, walking those hands away from you. And slowly coming back up through center, we're going to take that twist one more time. So twisting to the right. Right hand to the side of the body, left hand either to the right knee or to the left. Maybe you do the opposite one that you did before, or maybe you do whichever one feels best. Again. And coming back through center, left hand to the side of the body, right hand to one of the knees. And coming back through center again. Let's bring both hands to the knees. Start to circle the upper body. We usually do this when you have the more comfortable cross, because I usually do this pretty early on. So you crossed your legs in whichever way feels most comfortable. We're doing the opposite now. So you might notice that this movement feels a little different. That's good. For me, it doesn't feel quite as fluid. It feels a little stiffer, a little clunkier. That's good. Whenever we notice things like that, it kind of shows you an area that you can be working on. And we'll start to come back through center, bringing the soles of the feet together, hands interlaced under those toes as you lengthen the spine, lift it up. Exhale, fold it down, pressing those elbows into the shins, drawing the chest towards the toes. Finding the distance from your body that the feet feel most comfortable. And it could depend on the day. It could depend on what you need. You can draw your feet all the way in towards your body. You're probably not going to lean as far forward, but maybe that stretch feels good in there. inner hips and inner thighs. So you kind of sit up straight and draw the feet towards you and sort of press the knees towards the mat. Or those feet can come really far away from you and you can fold a lot more forward. And you feel it in such a different spot. You'll feel it in your outer hips. I even feel it in the backs of my legs a little bit when I'm like this. Always coming back to that breath. If you feel some tightness, take an inhale, maybe sit up a little bit, and then exhale back into that deeper expression and see if you can work through it just a little bit. Not forcing it or making it happen, but just seeing if that breath can draw you into it. And then slowly lifting it all the way back up. We'll extend the right leg. Left foot comes into that right inner thigh as those arms lift up. We'll take our fold over that right leg, flexing the foot, bending the knee, massaging the leg. Do another little twist here. You're going to kind of bring your left hand wherever it's comfortable on that right leg. So on the shin, on the foot, on the knee, it doesn't really matter. And then the right hand is just going to come to the outside of that left leg. And you're just going to twist over to the right. So you're kind of pressing the left hand into that leg, looking over your right shoulder, getting one more little twist to the spine. And coming back through center, extend the left leg long, right foot comes into the inner thigh, flex those left toes, take a breath in as the arms lift up. Exhale as you fold it down. Starting to find that twist again. The right hand is going to come to the right shin or the left shin or the foot. Left hand comes to the side of the body as you start to press into that leg, press into the mat, and twist over to the left. Lengthening the spine as you inhale, twisting as you exhale. And slowly coming back through center, extend those legs long. Tap the back of the legs out, rock your feet from side to side, and let's finally start to find a tabletop, coming onto hands and knees, moving through a couple rounds of cat and cow just to get us started, to warm up those hips, to warm up the spine, and to get into that flow. So this is the first pose where you're really moving most of the body, moving with your breath, moving in any way that feels good for you. As you start to come back through center, we're going to stretch out the bottoms of the feet, extending that right foot long. Keep those toes tucked, beginning to press yourself forwards and backwards, stretching out through the bottom of the foot, the back of the leg, the ankle. As you come back through center, we're going to find our modified side plank. So the left foot is going to slide off the mat. You're making that kickstand with the left foot. Inner arch of the right foot is coming to the mat. Left hand stays down, and then that right arm starts to lift up towards the sky. Actually, two options. You can either have that right arm lifting up towards the sky, or the right arm can reach overhead, kind of like you're bringing your right shoulder towards your right ear. So when you do that, you're getting a little more of a stretch on the whole right side of the body. Some people prefer the arm reaching up, really whatever feels best for you. You can also move that right arm again, just like we did in that little side stretch before. You can make some circles with the arm. You can kind of just let it flow or looks like a rag doll, just kind of moving in any way that feels good, or you can keep it still. And we'll start to close it off, coming back to that tabletop position. Hands coming down, knees coming down. Left leg will extend this time, keeping those toes tucked so that you can press yourself forwards and backwards, stretching out the bottom of that foot, the back of that leg. And we'll start to find that side plank on the other side. So this time the right foot becomes your kickstand. The right foot slides off the mat. Inner arch of the left foot comes down. Left arm reaches up towards the sky or overhead, lengthening the whole left side of the body, keeping under that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then if it felt good, or if you did it on the other side, you can circle that left arm. And we'll come back to that tabletop position. Left hand comes down to the mat. Left knee comes down to the mat. As you make your way into your first downward facing dog, tucking the toes, straightening the legs, send those hips up and back, and then just move here a lot. Lift up your heels one at a time and then press them back down. Bend your knees like you're bringing your stomach to your thighs and then straighten your legs. Rock your hips from side to side. And we'll start to find that forward fold at the back of the mat. So walking those hands towards those feet. Find that fold that feels good for you. So this is always an important pose. It's our first really standing pose. So let it be what you want it to be. Let the knees be bent really deeply if that feels good. Hold on to the elbows or the back of the head. Slowly, we'll start to lift it up really slow so you don't get dizzy. On the next inhale, the arms are going to lift up overhead. Take your gaze up towards the sky. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale as you lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. One more time, just like that. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. On the next inhale, we're going to reach the arms back up overhead. You're going to turn to the right. Your right arm is going to come behind you. Your left arm is in front of you. Try to keep your hips facing forward still. So just your upper body is kind of turning. And we're going to look back at that right hand. On the next breath, you're going to lift your arms back up through center. Take it over to the left. So the left arm is reaching back. The right arm is reaching forward. You're looking back at that left hand. Inhale back up through center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale up. Exhale left. Do that 2 more times with your breath. 2 more times on each side. Inhale up. Exhale right. Inhale up. Exhale left. Once you've finished those 2 more rounds on both sides, you'll end back with your arms up overhead, taking a big inhale here. And on the exhale, you'll dive it back down, finding that forward fold. From that forward fold, let's walk it back out into our downward facing dog. From your down dog, go ahead and find that plank position, drawing the shoulders over the wrists, tucking the tailbone, engaging the core as we take our little flow here by bringing those knees down to the mat, lowering onto the stomach, hug those elbows in, lower yourself as slowly as you can, and then find that baby cobra with the upper body lifted, the hands lifted, the shoulder blades pressing together. And then slowly pressing your hands into the mat, back to your downward facing dog. Lift it up and back, tuck the toes, bend the knees. 3 breaths here. Again, we're going to start to walk those hands back to the back of the mat, finding that forward fold just like you did before. Anyone that feels good, maybe the same thing, maybe something different. On the next inhale, we'll slowly start to lift it up, reaching those arms up overhead. We're going to take that same little flow. So as you exhale, twist to the right, open it up. As you inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale to the left. Again, 2 more times on each side with your breath. Keeping those arms as straight as you can, engaged and active. Your core is engaged as well. So just like I said before, even in a pose that's fairly basic or simple, you're still doing so much. You're paying attention to so much. You're engaging so much. You're being present. You're breathing. Once you come back through center, we will again dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, lift it up halfway, bring your hands to your shins, flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you lift it all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. One more time, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift it all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here, take a moment. Maybe the eyes float closed for a moment. On the next breath, the arms will lift back up overhead. You'll dive it back down, big swan dive down as you find a forward fold, and then walk it back out to your downward facing dog. Once again, roll it into that plank position, tailbone tucked, core is engaged, knees come down to the mat so that you can slowly, with control, lower all the way onto that stomach. This time, you'll press your hands into the mat if you want. I shouldn't say you will, but coming into any cobra that feels good for you. So you can press those hands into the mat if you'd like, or you can keep that baby cobra if that's what feels best for you. And then as you start to lower yourself back down, you're going to press it back to the child's pose. So your toes can come together. Your knees are a little bit apart as you begin to bring the hips towards the heels, finding any place to lay the hands that feels comfortable for you. And then settle in for your 5 or so breaths. Maybe grabbing a sip of water, maybe doing whatever feels good for you. Taking some movements, coming to stillness. Slowly beginning to walk those hands back away from the body if they were not already at the top of your mat. As you begin to transition back into that downward facing dog with the toes tucking, the legs straightening, the hips going up and back. 3 breaths here. And then as you look towards the top of your mat, towards your hands, you're going to start to walk your feet up to the top of your mat, coming to that forward fold at the top, taking that halfway lift, folding as you exhale, inhaling, lifting it all the way up, interlacing your hands at the top, pressing your palms away towards the sky, and then leaning to the left side, stretching out the whole right side of the body, looking under that left arm. Inhale as you lift back up to center. Exhale as you take it over to the right, looking under that left arm. Press the hips to the left, the palms to the right. Inhale back up through center. On the exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Let's go ahead and step the left foot back. So bringing your hands to the mat, that left foot steps back, the right foot stays forward. Left knee comes down, untuck those toes, ground down through the left hand, and then find your twist. Sometimes we do the twist with that back leg lifted. Do it on the ground today. So a little more of a gentler option. And it's always an option if you like doing it this way. That's take the gaze up towards that right hand. See if you can keep that right knee above the right ankle rather than having the knee kind of lay out to the side. So you can keep that knee directly above the right ankle. We're going to take that right hand back down, place it on the inside of the right foot. And now we actually are going to let that right knee go beyond the right ankle a little bit. So you're going to kind of walk your right foot out a little bit. You kind of heel toe it, wiggle it off to the edge of your mat, and then take your right hand and just gently start to press the right knee away from you. You're rolling onto the outer edge of the right foot, and that left hip is starting to press down towards the mat. So we're twisting here, but we're also getting a stretch in the left hip. You can either be looking towards that right knee or back over the right shoulder or elbow. I'm going to give you a couple options, and you're going to choose the one that feels good for you. The first one is to stay like this. Second one is to take that right hand, start to reach it back behind you in the same direction as that left foot is reaching. If you're reaching the arm back, go ahead and look back too. Final option, and this is a deep quad stretch, is to bend that left knee. You don't have to grab the foot. Some people do grab the foot, but just bending that left knee is going to give you a really deep stretch. That does not feel good. Keep it on the ground. And then we're going to go ahead and bring that right hand back to the inside of that right foot. And you can sort of wiggle that right foot back to its regular spot. Take the right hand to the outside of the right foot. And we'll start to warm up those hips. Pressing it back, straighten the right leg, fold over the right leg. Inhale, press it forward, bend that knee. Exhale, send it back. Couple more times, just like that, moving how you like to move. And as you come forward, we'll find that Anjaneyasana, bringing your hands to your front knee or reaching them up towards the sky, sinking into that left hip. We've been doing a lot on that left hip, so it might feel a little bit almost overstretched at this point. So be gentle with it if it's feeling like too much. Let's all start to bring our hands back to frame out that right foot. Tuck the back toes, straighten that back leg, step it up to your forward fold, halfway lift for space as you inhale, exhale as you fold, put a little bend in your knees, and we're gonna step that right foot back, keeping the left knee forward. So getting right into the other side. Once that right foot steps back, the right knee comes down, those toes untuck, right hand grounds down, and you'll lift that left arm up towards the sky. So again, for this one, we're not letting that knee release out to the side just yet. We're keeping that left knee above the left ankle, reaching the arm up towards the sky, twisting here. Now we'll bring that left hand down to the inside of the left foot, You can wiggle that left foot to the outer edge of your mat again. So walking it out to the side just a little bit more as you take the left hand and start to press it into the knee, gently into the knee, not hurting the knee, but just kind of putting a little pressure on there on the outside of that left foot. So kind of on that little edge of the left foot as you start to twist here. And you'll feel it in different places depending on your body. You might notice it more as a twist. You might notice it more as getting into that right hip. You might notice it in the left inner thigh. Same options as we had on the other side. If you want to stay here, go ahead and stay here. If you're adding on, left arm can reach back. Look towards that left hand. That's the first step. Second step is to play around with bending that right leg. That can also be really hard on the right knee. If it feels hard on your right knee, you can either put some extra cushion, a blanket under it, or just skip it. We want to be kind to our knees. Go ahead and bring that left hand back down to the mat. We'll start to wiggle that left foot back to the center of the mat. Bring your left hand to the outside of the foot. As you exhale, press the hips back, folding over that left leg. And we'll start to take our little movement here, pressing those hips forward as you inhale, lift up. Exhale, sending it back, folding over that left leg. Couple more times, just like that, moving with the breath. The next time you come forward, those hips press down, the arms start to come up, either to the knee or up towards the sky. The shoulders are relaxing, those hips are sinking down. And gently beginning to bring your hands back to frame out that left foot. Tuck the back toes, straighten that back leg, step it back up to your forward fold. Take that halfway lift for space. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, reach it up. Take that back bend. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Take a breath. Grab a sip of water, whatever you need. We're going to step it back into our warrior one when you're ready. So the right foot is going to stay at the top of the mat. That left foot is going to step back. 45-degree angle with the left foot. Hips are facing forward. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, bend into that knee. And anytime we come into this, you might notice that your feet are not the right distance apart. So you can always adjust. You can slide that back foot back a little bit if you need. Usually we need more space. Your legs are more open than you realize. So widening that stance can help. We're going to hold this for a moment. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. Bend into that right knee just a little bit more. Lengthen those arms. So feel that strength in the arms. Feel the strength in your whole body. The whole body is active right now. That left hip is pressing forward. That right knee is bending. Go ahead and open it up to our warrior two. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm reaches back. Dial that left hip in a little bit. Shift so that the body is facing the left side of your mat now. We'll find our peaceful warrior. Flipping the right palm up. Reach forward and then take that right arm up and overhead. Bending into that right knee as you lengthen the right side of the body. Looking under the arm towards the sky. From here, we're going to come into our extended side angle. So your right elbow is going to come to your right knee. Your left arm is going to reach overhead. So almost like you're bringing your left shoulder towards your ear, looking under that left arm towards the sky. I know that right knee has been bent for a while, but we're going to take a little bit of a flow here. So we're going to come back to that peaceful warrior. The legs are staying where they are as you inhale. You're going to lift the arms back up, reach the right arm back overhead, left arm comes to that back thigh. And then back to that extended angle, right elbow to the right knee. Left fingertips reach forward. One more time with your breath. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. On the next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. And then we'll straighten that right leg. It should feel really good. We're going to take that wide-legged fold by turning the right toes to the side, taking a breath in as you lift the arms up. Exhaling as you dive it down. As always, hear how it feels good for you. So rocking from side to side, bending the knees, walking the hands to one side and the other. From here, we're going to start to walk our hands over to that right foot, coming to a low lunge at the top of your mat. So you're going to turn your right toes to face forward, spin to the ball of that left foot. We're back in our low lunge where we were just a little while ago. And then you're going to step forward again. So the left foot is stepping up to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lift it all the way up. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. Let's find that warrior one with the left foot forward. So your left foot is staying forward. Your right foot is stepping to the back. Your hips are squared and facing the front of your mat. Take a breath in as you reach the arms up. Bend into that left knee as you exhale, relaxing the shoulders, lengthening the arms. So we held this for a little while on the other side, so we're going to do that again here. The shoulders are relaxed, the arms are lengthening. See if you can bend into that left knee a little bit more, pressing down through the outer edge of the right leg. Dial that right hip forward if the right hip is in front of the left. You can press it forward. And let's go ahead and open it up into your warrior two. So the left arm comes forward, the right arm comes back, those shoulders relax. The right foot dials in a little bit. We'll find that peaceful warrior. Flip the left palm, reach it forward. Take that left arm up and overhead, still bending into that left knee as you look under the left arm towards the sky. And then go ahead and find your extended side angle. Left elbow is coming to the left knee. Right fingertips are reaching over your head. Now we'll take that flow. Inhale back to the peaceful warrior. Right hand comes behind you. Left arm reaches overhead. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow to the knee. Right fingertips overhead. One more time, just like that. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. On the next inhale, you'll come back to your warrior two, lift it up, straighten that left leg, turn the toes to the side of your mat, arms lift up overhead. With a big exhale, dive it back down, wide-legged forward fold. Anything that feels good here, same thing as you did on the other side, or maybe something different. And then this time the hands will start to walk over to that left foot, coming to that low lunge at the top of the mat. Left toes spin forward, coming onto the ball of the right foot. And we'll step it back up to that forward fold. Right foot comes up to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. As you exhale, dive it right back down, forward fold. Putting a little bend in your knees so that you can step those feet back to your downward facing dog. From your down dog, roll it out into your plank. Bringing those knees to the mat so you can lower yourself all the way onto your stomach. Inhale up to that heart opener, that cobra. Slowly lower yourself back down. And then press it back to a tabletop, coming onto the hands and knees. And you're just gonna move the spine here a little bit, move through that cat and cow. Get a nice arch in it. That should feel good after being in that cobra. You were bending back, so now lift that spine up a little bit, rounding the back, maybe rocking your hips from side to side. And then slowly starting to make your way into a seated position, coming all the way down onto your mat with your legs extended long in front of you. Gonna rock it out from side to side, flex through those feet. Take a breath in as the arms lift up. Exhale as you fold it forward. As always, let this be your own version of a forward fold, however it feels good to you. Deep bend in the knees, arms on the legs, hands on the toes, whatever you want. Maybe it even turns into a wide-legged forward fold. Sky's the limit and do what feels good here. On the next inhale, we'll slowly start to lift it all the way back up. And then one vertebrae at a time, you'll begin to peel the spine all the way back down onto the mat. Taking that full body stretch once you get there, reaching those arms overhead. Exhale as you bring the hands back to the sides of the body. And we'll start to find our bridge pose, bending the knees, bringing the feet to the base of the spine. On a big inhale, those hips press up towards the sky. Shoulders can roll under the body a little bit. And then hands can either press into the mat or interlace under the tailbone. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, starting to peel that spine all the way back down to the mat. Knees can rock from side to side once you come down. And then drawing your knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around your shins. Give yourself a little hug. Lift your head up off the mat, round the spine a little bit. Circle the knees in any way that feels good. Placing both feet back down on the mat, we're going to take the right foot, bring it to the left knee, lifting that left leg up off the mat, flexing through both feet, and then interlace your hands around that left leg, either on the back of the thigh or the front of the shin, drawing that left leg towards you. Slowly placing that left foot back down on the mat, extending your arms wide, and then just letting your hips rock from side to side. Slowly coming back through center, place the right foot down on the mat. We'll take the left foot to the right knee. Lift that right leg up off the mat, hands interlace behind the thigh or in front of the shin. drawing that right leg towards you, getting that opening in the left knee, or the left hip, really. And bringing that right foot back down to the mat, extend your arms out wide. Let those hips rock from side to side. And that left leg can come back down to the mat. One last time, the knees draw in towards you so we can find that twist, letting both knees release over to the right side, and then just settling in here. So letting those knees land wherever they want to. Left shoulder comes back down towards the mat, gazes up towards the sky or over to the left side. Eyes can start to close. Maybe one leg is crossed over the other or wrapped around the other. Sometimes that can give you a good stretch in the legs, so the outer hips. And gently bringing those knees back through center so that you can take it off to the left side, just like you did on the right. Find that twist that feels good for you. And slowly coming back through center, beginning to make your way into your final shape. Maybe that's soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Maybe that's keeping your knees bent or extending them long on your mat. So just taking your time to find that shape, whatever it's going to look like for you. Beginning to melt into that final pose. Finding some stillness. The eyes closed. Relaxing through the shoulders, the back of the head. Maybe taking any kind of stretches that you need as you find that stillness. Taking all the time to transition that you need. And then eventually just settling into your Shavasana, maybe with a big cleansing breath, a big inhale into the nose, a big exhale, sigh it out. Just enjoying these few moments of stillness. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Starting to bring your awareness back to your body, bringing that breath back into your body, bringing yourself back to the room, moving in all those tiny little ways that help begin to wake the body up. Eventually journeying over to your right side with the knees bent and the head resting on the arm, finding that fetal shape. Taking your time as you get there, allowing your body to just absorb everything that you created. Taking this hour out of your day, making space in your day, breathing. So beneficial on levels that you don't even realize all the time. So just allow yourself to absorb everything that it is that you just gave to yourself, that gift you just gave to yourself. When you're ready, you can slowly begin to make your way back up to a seated position, taking all the time you need as you start to lift up, bringing those hands back to heart center. Always thank you for coming out tonight, showing up for yourself more so than showing up for me. Hope you have the most beautiful evening and a wonderful week, a wonderful 2 weeks. So I see you next time. Namaste.